Yeah.
What's up, everyone? Good morning to you. I was looking at some names. That's why I was a little distracted here. I see George Sanders who popped on here this morning. Good morning to you. And I was trying to figure out how I could jump over to my desk to bring back his book, but we're going to have him on to talk about his book. I started reading it yesterday. I wasn't supposed to start reading until the end of the week because I had other stuff to do, but I picked it up, and it's that kind of book. You pick it up and you start reading, and it's like, oh, let me read this now. So he is on here. So good morning to you. I see you, Deborah Johnson, Shirley Nicholson, Rosanna, Kim Edmondson, Camille. I saw others of you. Let me see if I can grab you out of here. Leah, good morning to you. Stephanie Burbridge Hall, good morning to you. Y'all are calling me off the chain, and I'm enjoying it because I love what I do. And I'm so glad that you all are saying, okay, what am I doing here? And again, I will never tell you how to vote. That's not my job. But I will make sure you have a clear understanding of what it is and how I do it. And I'm also very careful to say if I voted one way or another. Cherie, what's up? I got to talk to you, girl. We got to figure out how to connect this week. I see you, Jacqueline. I see you this morning. What's up, everybody? What's up? All right, y'all. First off, let's pray for Kenny Stanley. He is not feeling well this morning, so he will not be on News in Motion this morning. But I see him popping in the chat. So he's in the chat, but he does not feel well to come on screen. But that means he's a true supporter and a News in Motion viewer and family member. Kenny, I hope you are doing better this morning, and we're going to continue to pray for you. Now, y'all don't know, many of y'all don't know her. I am one of 5 children. I'm one of 5 children. I'm next to the youngest. I'm next to the baby. I see you, Dr. Antoinette. And today is the baby's birthday. So happy birthday to my sister, Kimberly Montgomery. She lives in Ohio as well, but it is her birthday today. So I want to give her a shout out to her. So she is the baby. There's times when we're together, I'll tell people, I said, I'm the baby, she's older than me, just, to mess up people. But then people think that they know that we're sisters, and they think that sometimes we're twins. I'm like, no, don't try that. She looks like my brother's daughter. My brother's daughter and them look alike. I mean, you can confuse Kimberly and Victoria. So those of you who know them, know you can confuse the two of them. Deborah Johnson says, I am praying for you, my brother. I'm so glad you're praying for Kenny. Thank you. And Shardinia, good morning. I want to also say thank you. And I'm gonna bring Isaiah in if he's available to do so this morning. He's looking up like, what? I want to say thank you to all of you. I see you, Lewis Pryor the third. I see you, Marion Jackson. I see you, Jeff Payne. Come on in here, y'all. I want to say thank you to all of you who sold into our freelance media director's life for his birthday, his 20th birthday. And it's not too late to still sow. But y'all, this young man, I said it yesterday, and I'm getting to the news in a moment. This young man is doing some amazing things. He is beyond his years, and he's serious about doing the work of the ministry, and he's serious about the business that he's building. And he's getting calls from different people. So I just want to say thank you to all of you who took time to send him a birthday shout out last Thursday, and those who took time to send him a cash app just to say, bless you. Here's something I'm sowing into your life. I'm sowing into your business. And I'm going to get to the inspirational message at the end where I'm going to really tie some of this in. So, Isaiah, if you don't mind, come on in and say your own thanks. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm just truly grateful to everyone who wished me a happy birthday last Thursday. 20 years old. I'm still in shock, and I'm truly blessed, not only for my family but for everyone who tunes into News in Motion. To Miss Gail Dudley for giving me a platform to not only hone my craft but to expand and grow my business, which I'm really fortunate for this opportunity. Because of Miss Gail Dudley, I've had so many opportunities already doing events with people like Miss Cassandra Tarver for the sickle cell awareness. And I'm just thankful to everyone. Y'all don't understand how much y'all mean to me. And to News in Motion, I am forever indebted to you. So, Miss Gail Dudley, thank you for all the motivation and support. To all the aunties in the chat, like Miss Kim Emerson and Miss Deborah Johnson. I just appreciate all of y'all, and I'm just blessed.
Can you do us all a favor and share with us your Cash App and also put it in the chat as well? Yeah, and the reason why I push this, you all, because I believe that lets people get an idea of their value. So just if you're able to, and it doesn't have to be a lot. It could be a cup of coffee. Hello, that's what it could be. So Isaiah, if you would share that with everyone. I'm not for sure if it's in the banner anymore. I know we go through and clean those up, but if you can put it back in the banner and put it in the chat, that will be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So my Cash App is Isaiah Jones, 1916 or 1916, if that's easier to remember. Um,
So Isaiah Jones, 1916, and that's the dollar sign in front of it. So that's Cash App. And he will again put that in the chat and we'll also put that up on the screen. So hopefully you're enjoying your almost one full week of being 20 years old.
I have. So it's definitely been surreal and it's been reflective. But 20 years
Good.
old and just getting started.
Good. Well, thank you for jumping on here last minute with me. It wasn't playing. I'd be doing stuff to people. They're like, what? And y'all could have seen his face in the green room. It was hilarious. I see you, Elizabeth Towns. Good morning to you. All right, y'all. It is Wednesday, October the 26th, 2022. And we have some headlines today. First off, y'all, Hope Hicks. Dr. Antoinette, you on here? Hope Hicks, who serves as the top advisor to former President Donald Trump, is interviewing with the Jan 6 committee on I think it's this coming Tuesday, or did she do it yesterday? I'm not for sure the way this is written. So they declined to provide comment or any additional details. Y'all remember she served multiple roles in the Trump White House for much of his presidency. She left 6 days after the January 6th insurrection. So there's that. Y'all, CNN. Woo! Clarence Thomas freezes order for Lindsey Graham to testify before Georgia grand jury investigating the 2020 election. How can you do that? That's just so biased. It's like y'all are really showing yourselves here. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But y'all, that's what's happening. So Clarence Thomas, his wife probably said, I need you to get Lindsey out of this. So y'all, Jenny, Clarence, listen, woo. I'm like, there's something about this that's not right. And y'all, it's not looking good for Yee. It's not. I actually feel a little sad for him. I do. And I feel a little sad for him because here's a black man. Now, what he did was absolutely wrong. And I stand with my Jewish brothers and sisters. And what he has been inciting is uncalled for, is ridiculous, is hideous, is dangerous. And I think he's completely wrong and he needs to come out and apologize. So let me say that first. Yee is wrong. But, no, I shouldn't say but. And I'll say this, because G is completely wrong on all of that stuff he's inciting, and he needs to be called on the carpet for it. Absolutely. Along with that, here's a black man that's getting yanked from everything, but we still have the former guy of the Oval still walking around doing whatever, however, whenever, saying whatever he wants to do. See, there's a disparity here. Both are dangerous and wrong. But yeah, y'all, Adidas says they're out. Adidas says we're not even giving you another check. MCR out. And I hope I say this right. See, I'm not this luxury shopper, but I believe it's Balenciaga. I may have that all messed up. But they're out. So he can't even get stuff made right now. Vogue is out, CAA is out, Gap is out, Foot Locker is out, and JP Morgan said, you got until November the 21st to come get your money because you're out of this bank as well. They are just out. So he's out here. There's a lot going on. He needs help, I believe. There are people now jumping on this bandwagon saying he's right. Now, here's what's happening, what I just shared. And I was reading some of this, and my sister and I were talking, and I said, this is a little interesting. Now he's wrong. He is completely wrong saying what he's been saying. Completely wrong. I don't approve of it. I denounce that. I don't believe in that. He's wrong. He's dangerous, and he needs to really come back and offer a sincere apology. Along with that, he's a black man, and they're coming after him. But we have the former guy. We have others with the former guy who are walking around just free saying whatever they want to. So there's a problem there. There's a problem there. Y'all, there is people are begging. And I want to hear what y'all have to say in the chat about what I just said. Um, and we all know he needs help, but what do you think about the disparities? And do you think this is, there's one rule for this group and another rule for that group? I really want to hear what you have to say. Misha says, as a former fan, it hurts me to see him unraveling like this. He is spiraling out of control. He is. It's not good. It's not good. Dr. Antoinette says, say that. Marion Jackson went back a little bit and said, did Justice Clarence Thomas violate some law by what he did for Lindsey Graham? I don't know. He's the Supreme Court. I don't know. All I know is that's what he's put out there right now, and that's not okay. That's not okay. And do me a favor, y'all. We're looking at the impressions. If y'all would just go and hit that like, that thumbs up, or that heart, we would greatly appreciate it. It helps with the algorithm and alerts other people that we're on here. So if y'all don't mind doing that, that'll be great. Elizabeth Town says Kanye is wrong in the anti-Semitic statements, but some of the statements he made were legitimate. And that is it, Elizabeth. And that's what I've been looking at over the past 24 hours. And I'm like, now the anti-Semitic statement is absolutely wrong. Uncalled for. I don't agree with it. No. But there are some things, and actually one thing that he said is actually happening right now. And that is everyone is like he lost his billionaire status yesterday. So everyone's pulling out on him. He may, hope, and even somebody said his accountant is getting ready to pull out. So we don't know where he's going to end up, where he's going to land. But in saying some of the things that he has said, it's like, well, actually what he said is happening. They'll do this to a black man, but they won't do this to other people. But see, his problem is he's now standing with the people he accused of things that's not going to happen to them. So he's double talking to some degree as well. And he's really unraveling. Let me finish reading your statement. That's always going to be the case. What I don't approve of is how quickly he can be economically shattered when these white men can do hideous things like touch children, etc., and not receive the same treatment. I am in absolute agreement with you. Leah says, I think the disparity is not new, and that's why people aren't talking about it. We experience that in every area of our lives, which is why he should know better. Deborah says we need to limit, we're at the Supreme Court now with Deborah. We need term limits for Supreme Court justices and other elected officials. I agree with you on that as well. Kenny Stanley says privilege is real. Kanye is dead wrong, but his wrongs will be spotlighted more because he is black. And then Marion says, I absolutely agree. So a lot's going on there, y'all. Lots going on there. And again, y'all, if y'all would hit that thumbs up or that heart, throw up several of them, we would greatly appreciate it to help with the algorithm. So y'all, there's a lot to unpack there. And I think we need to continuously protect and support our black males in our lives, whether it's our brothers, our uncles, our husbands, our nephews, black male teachers, black male officials, and just make sure that we're praying for them and supporting them and surrounding them. So much there. So y'all, early voting in the 2022 midterm elections, states across the country are reporting a surge of voters casting ballots at in-person voting sites and by mail. And this is an election, experts are saying this is a strong sign for the turnout. And then they're also recognizing that it's normally the Democrats who come out and vote early, which is when they usually win. So there's a lot of Republicans that are scrambling, trying to change their message. There's been women who've been able to flip where inflation was on top, back to Roe v. Wade, and they're wearing these T-shirts. If you have a T-shirt business, you might want to make something up real quick and put it out there because it's happening. Now, you cannot wear those T-shirts to the voting polls. Dr. Antoinette says his new friend Candace Owens will help him. Yeah, right. There's that. And remember, y'all, Candace Owens' husband is the CEO of Parler, which he's trying to buy, or he's in the process of buying. Y'all, on Tuesday, University of Florida's U.S. election project counted more than 10.5 million early votes, of which 7,662,560 were mail-in ballots that have been returned. 2,916,195 ballots cast in person so far, just a week prior to um, electproject.org had only tallied about 2 million early votes. So people are voting. Y'all, more than 1 million people in Georgia have already voted. That's 59% higher than this point in 2018's midterm elections. So they're comparing these numbers not only to 2020 general election, but 2018 midterm. So y'all, people in Georgia, they are coming out. And it's interesting. And I want y'all to pay attention to this. It's interesting because anytime the people try to put a thumbprint on the black people say, oh no, that ain't about to happen. And they come out. And so my prayer is that they'll continue to come out. I don't care what side you vote. Well, I do care, but I'm not going to tell you what side I want you to vote on. But as long as you are exercising your right to vote, that's what's important. Y'all, in Virginia, more than 411,000 people have voted so far, surpassing the total number of people who voted early in 2018. And we have right now 2 weeks before election as of yesterday. And then on Monday, the first day early voting began in South Carolina, which I've been going through those. The day's final tally nearly doubled the previous single day early voting record. Y'all, so far, the demographic voting early is the senior set, and that's the 65 and older. So they're the ones that are out there, they're lined up. Y'all, the 18 to 40 demographic currently makes up just 11% of early voters. Now, there's a pollster, and I'm funny about polls, just like Whoopi Goldberg. The pollsters are told the New York Times that young voters, now I have heard this even from my own children, who often lean Democrat, are showing a stronger indication this year that they are on purpose showing up and standing in line on the day of election. So, and here's what's interesting. I don't know why I get into this, but I do. But do y'all know this? The weather for Tuesday, November the 8th is supposed to be gorgeous across the entire United States of America. Do y'all remember when Obama ran the first time, the weather was like that? It was sunshine everywhere. Well, they're expecting the same thing to happen. They're predicting, the same thing to happen. I thought, wow, this is quite interesting. And that will move more people to come out to vote. I don't know who this Facebook user is. It's either Devontae Goins or Mike Nicholson, says they've been disabling people's accounts that have been speaking against the Roe v. Wade overturn, women empowerment, Black empowerment, and voter education. People been reporting them as harmful. There's a lot that's going on. So y'all, Isaiah, I believe, has the numbers. If you need voter protection hotline, I think we have that number. Election protection is 1-800-RVOTE. I'm sorry, 1-866-RVOTE. Again, that's 1-866-RVOTE. And then we also have another number that we want to put up, voting rights hotline, 800-253-3931. Again, 800-253-3931. And that was Mike Nicholson. And then the TTY line is 877-267-8971. We said this back in 2020 during the election time, and I'm going to say it again today. And that is this: if you can go with a friend, even if you're early voting, please do so. Even if it's with early voting, please, please, please do so. I see you, Lori Wallace, popping up in here. For those of you who are now on our new platforms all across the podcast universe, we want to say welcome to you. if you are actually watching the video, there's the audio listeners, there's a podcast listeners, and then there's the video listeners, all live. And on the video listeners, the chat is filled with people who are making comments. And what I try to do is go back to the chat and pull out and call out and shout out names and give you some of what's being shared there. This is a conversation that we have here, that what makes News in Motion who we are. And we just want to say welcome to you. So if you're watching audio or listening to audio or on podcast, you can always email me at newsinmotionwithgail@gmail.com. Again, that's newsinmotionwithgail@gmail.com, and say, hey, I'm listening to you, sister. Shout my name out and put the names of everybody who you're with that's listening, whether you're by yourself or with other people. We will be glad to shout your name out the very next day or within a couple of days. We don't shout out everybody that's in the chat, because if we did that, we would not have time for the news or the headlines. So we do pull out names. So we want to say welcome and thank you for joining us. We really do appreciate you joining us. And y'all came in here like crazy with all these posts in here. Elizabeth said, if you can help some seniors with their mail-in ballots, please do. And that is true. There's a lot of confusion out there, y'all, with issue 1, especially in Ohio, issue 2. Read the entire issue. There's other issues. There's the senior issues. There's issues in other states. And I know we have other states on here. We have Maryland. We have Tennessee. We have North Carolina, South Carolina. We have Washington, D.C. We have Oregon. We have California. We have Georgia. We have others. If you have different issues, please, and you think people need to be careful of how they're reading them, please put them in the chat, and I'll make sure I'll get to those and say those out there. You don't have to put the entire issue out there. Just say what it is or the amendment, and I'll just say, hey, if you're in Georgia, watch amendment such and such. Hey, if you're in Tennessee, watch amendment or issue such and such, so that we can get all that information out there. That is why we have News in Motion ambassadors to help bring me that information, so I can get that information out to all of you. All right, y'all. AP reports that Brittany Griner's appeal was rejected. Yeah. A Russian court upheld the prison sentence for Griner, the American basketball star who was found guilty on drug charges there. Griner will be required to serve about 8 years in a Russian penal colony unless the U.S. unless the U.S. government makes good on its promises to bring her home via a prisoner swap. They only want to swap her for they say he's probably one of the most dangerous men in the world, and Russia wants him back. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Brittany Griner's wife said BG's at her absolute weakest moment in life right now. So y'all, if nothing more, let's lift up prayers for her, and let's continue the hashtag bring Brittany home. Bring her home. All right, y'all, it's Wednesday, so we have news from the White House. Wednesday from the White House. And there were a couple of readouts, which I won't read, but I'll tell you what those are. Readout of cybersecurity executive forum on electric vehicles and electric charging infrastructure. There's also the President Biden gave remarks on the status of the country's fight against COVID-19. There's now a new thing called the triple endemic, and that is COVID-19, the new strain BQ 1.1. There is the flu, and they say the flu is going like just running rampant. And then there is, I want to say it's SUS or SRS. My sister's on here. You're at Children's Hospital. Tell me what it is. Where young people, where babies are getting hit with this. So they're saying all of this is happening at the same time. And if my sister or somebody who knows what I'm talking about put that in the chat, I will announce it correctly. Dr. Angie Shannon says the U.S. needs to intervene when it comes to Brittany Griner. And Mike Nicholson saying, yes, his boss is down due to this. So y'all be mindful of that. And then also President Biden called the new Prime Minister Sunak of the United Kingdom. In addition to that, I have another statement I want to read. This was for immediate release. Statement by President Joe Biden on Hyundai investment in Georgia. It says, my economic agenda passed the Democrats in Congress to rebuild our manufacturing and infrastructure here at home continues to pay off for American people. this time in Georgia. The plant was announced during my trip to the Republic of Korea in May, and I am excited the groundbreaking is happening months ahead of schedule. Hyundai's commitment to invest more than 5 billion, that's with a B, create more than 8,000 jobs, making electric vehicles and batteries will help boost their entire community around Bryan County. With good jobs, people can raise a family on and ultimately help lower costs for the American people. This has been the heart of a historic legislation we have passed over the last 2 years, and the last thing we should do is repeal it as Republicans in Congress want to do. So they want to repeal it. Y'all remember I was reading the Commitment to America, and I was telling you the accomplishments of the current Biden administration. So y'all, this is happening. Now I'm gonna give y'all some commentary on this announcement. Number one, $5 billion in the state of Georgia, in Bryan County. They're talking about more than 8,000 jobs. Here's several opportunities. Number one, buy up investment property. Hello, somebody, flip some houses. Number two, find out what skill set they're looking for consultants, for strategic planners, for construction workers, for mechanics, all of that, for engineers, for all of that, for project managers, for all of that, and see if you cannot submit a bid to be a part of this. Y'all, I've been telling y'all we need to figure out how we're going to come to the table on some of these things. Monica says states blocking student loan forgiveness, Ohio and more states involved in issue for prayer and advocacy. You are absolutely correct. And Dr. Monica Lowe is coming in from LinkedIn. So y'all, there's a lot that's going on here. When I share this type of information, I'm sharing it to say, start thinking, use those creative juices and go forward with this. When I see 8,000 jobs and I see $5 billion, 5 billion, that is what it be, y'all, $5 billion. I'm saying, all right, y'all, how we get to the table and get some of this? And if you are tuning in from any of the platforms and you have you are an economist and you can come on the show and share some of this information with us on how to do it, please reach out to us. Again, that's NewsInMotion with Gail at gmail.com. I would love to have a conversation with you. Yes, we do vet you to make sure you do what you say you do. And we will do the research and we will call your references before we bring you on the show. But we want to empower people. So you all start thinking about it. Reach out to Hyundai right now and say, okay, how do I submit my resume, my vita, my information, my credentials? How do I pitch them? And then, some of you who are working in the school system, y'all know we have a math problem going on right now and a reading problem. How can you pitch something? Is this how I think, y'all? How can you pitch something to say, let's bring this to the students? How can the students participate in this? And how can Hyundai send some money, some grant money, whatever, so that we can also talk to the young children about these different jobs and how we build and so forth and so on? Y'all, I think broad. I don't think small. I don't think small at all. I don't. I dream big. I dream real large. And I'm looking at all of us that are tuning in to NewsInMotion thinking, how can we participate in this and how can we build? You have businesses out here. Some of you have travel companies. They're going to need people to travel to and from, get in on the ground level and say, okay, I want to put my travel agency to be your travel agent to bring people in and out of the country. Okay, again, he announced this. Where did he announce this? He announced this in the Republic of Korea. So they might be flying some people into the state of Georgia. If you get on there as a travel consultant to arrange all the travel, their hotels, their meetings, their so forth and so on, that's business for you, y'all. That's how I think. And going back to what Dr. Monica Lowe is stating states blocking student loan forgiveness. Y'all, there's 6 states that blocked it. Called out the 6 states the other day on Monday, I believe. And more states are involved. Y'all, this is an issue for prayer and advocacy. So they're blocking. What can we do? And how can we then begin to protest, write letters, Contact our elected officials. We haven't done that in a long time here, but start contacting them saying, what are you doing and why are you doing this? And you have to get this undone, reverse this, get this done. Again, Joe Biden was calling out all kinds of people on Instagram yesterday. He called out Marjorie Taylor Greene. He talked about how much PPP loan was forgiven to her, talking about hundreds of $1,000s. And he called out somebody else, and they were like a couple $1,000,000, and they forgave that. And he said these are lawmakers who are controlling the laws and who are controlling bills and so forth. And he said, so why can't we forgive student loan debt? These are questions we need to be asking ourselves. Jeff Payne says, yes, think big. Patricia Lyles, what's that other in the endemic? They're calling it the triple endemic. What is that? We know it's COVID. We know it's the flu, but there's something with children. Can you put in the comments what that is? All right, y'all, the fact sheet. And I'm gonna be quick, y'all. And by the way, we were supposed to do critical thinking today, but we had so much news, and I had to do the Wednesday White House to stay on track with what we're doing. Now, this is what I'm gonna do with critical thinking. Y'all can just thank Latrice Jones for this because she keeps drilling this in my head. If you are a Patreon member, that's where you're going to get the critical thinking piece. And that's coming from Dr. Kevin Dudley. So y'all can't go copying his stuff or anything like this. This is stuff he does in his classrooms as a professor in the seminary. But listen, the critical thinking piece, we're going to put it in Patreon. We'll get it there by the weekend, but we're going to put it in Patreon. If you are not a Patreon member, you want to join today, and that's patreon.com. That's patreon.com/Gail Dudley. Patreon.com. So if you're wanting the critical thinking, and trust me, it is good, you want to become a Patreon member so you can have access to that type of information. So those of you who are already a Patreon member, that information will get to you by the weekend. We'll get it posted in Patreon. So if you want that information, there's a lot of content we put on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Gail Dudley and sign up. That's what you do. All right, y'all. Mike Nicholson says they can't forgive student loan debt because Black folks went to school. Well, that's a question there. Lori Wallace, anyone that knows me knows I only think big, and you are a big thinker, and I appreciate that. All right, y'all, let me get to this fact sheet. This is from the White House as well. Progress on Biden-Harris action plan for building better schools infrastructure. Remember, I talked about this in their plan yesterday called Where We Stand. Now, the Vice President Harris details action plans progress, announced nearly $1 billion from bipartisan infrastructure law for clean school buses. Now, I thought this was interesting. They talk about how much money they're going to put into this, the rebate, and then they break down. They start with cleaning school buses. RSV. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So it's COVID, flu, and RSV. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Marion. They talked about they want to go through EPA's Clean School Bus Program. The first installment of $5 billion total that will be awarded over 5 years. So that's $1 billion a year, y'all. The award will go to school districts in all 50 states and Washington, D.C., in addition to several U.S. territories and institutions serving federally recognized tribes. The new award will support the purchase of 2,468 buses, and 95% of these buses will be electric. Again, y'all, I think big. Who on here, engineer? Y'all, somebody needs an engineer to do this. They need several engineers to do this. So why not get in on that? Why not get on the table? Get at the table now. Then they're saying making public schools more energy efficient. They talk about Renew America school grants, and it talks about the Department of Education took the next steps to administer $80 million in funding for its Renew America Schools grant program under the bipartisanship infrastructure law by issuing the notice of intent. Y'all, that is $80 million. How many of you consultants, vendors out there have something to offer these schools? We need to get it out there. All right, I see another Facebook user. I believe that's Devontae Goins. So, y'all, here's money on the table. When I'm sharing this, Cherie, if you're still on here, you should be thinking, how are you going to connect with schools in your area to say, how do we become a part of this? Writing a proposal, a pitch, a grant. to get at the table to get some of this money. Kim Edmondson says Columbus Public Schools need that money, and they'll be getting it. Energy Champions leading the advancement of sustainable school prize. Now, the Department of Education simultaneously launches their Energy Class Prize, where it will provide up to 25 school districts direct resources to staff and train administration and facility personnel on strategic energy management, including project development and funding to advance school sustainability. Y'all, there's money there. Who's going to write a pitch and put that out there? Y'all, on News in Motion, we give y'all this kind of information. That's why you want to tune in every day. I do the research and I'm giving it to you. And y'all, this is coming directly from the White House. So I ain't making this up. This is coming directly from them. Then they talk about they're going to provide a 4 million in awards, including 3.7 million in selected school educational agencies to fund energy management personnel in training and an additional $750,000 in technical support. Who loves technology? Contact your schools in your district and find out how you can become a vendor and become a part of this so that you too can get some of this money. What's up, Latrice Jones? I knew she would pop in here in a minute. Y'all, better building and better climate challenge. These are leadership challenges encouraging participants across the market sector to increase energy efficiency, lower costs, and reduce the GHG emissions. As of 2021, K through 12 Better Building Challenge partners have saved 108 million in energy costs. They talk about that. Good morning, Pastor Alex. Y'all, and then promoting efficient schools. Y'all, I just gave y'all more than, let me see, where did I start off with? I started off with $8 billion. And I think I'm up to probably 12 or $13 billion on the table. So if you have these skill sets, contact your local school system in your district and say, let me submit a proposal. Let them know. I heard that the White House, and y'all, this is the White House emblem. This is straight from the White House. Y'all can say, I heard that the White House just sent y'all some money. And I want to see how I can become a part of this. Can I become a vendor? What do I need to do? Who do I need to talk to? Y'all, get your stuff in order now. Get everything in order. Y'all, come on, y'all. Side hustles, that ain't going to happen with billions and millions. That ain't going to happen that way. Go ahead and file for your trade name. Go ahead to your Secretary of State in your state and get all the information you need. Y'all know I'm giving y'all stuff that costs thousands of dollars right here by giving you this part, not the White House piece. This is free. But the consulting piece, I'm giving this to you. Go to your Secretary of State's office. File your trade name. Set up if you are limit liability corporation, if you're going to be a sole proprietor, if you're going to be a partnership, if you're going to be a corporation, complete that. If you are a nonprofit, complete your 501c3 certification, or go under a someone who's a fiduciary agent like what we are with Al Edmondson with Making a Difference LLC. Y'all set this stuff up. Then start putting your people together. Who's your advisory team? Who are your business consultants? What are you going to do? Write out your business plan. It doesn't have to be a big plan anymore. It can be a very simple plan. Write that out. Set up your bank account legally, not under your name. You want to protect yourself. You want to set this up under your business name. Y'all, come on now. I'm trying to help you out. Then you go out and you get this type of information. Get your DUNS number. Seriously. And I'm going to tell y'all now, sometimes that information can be overwhelming. I'm going to be very honest with y'all. I was doing something, setting something up, and it kept saying, what's your DUNS number? I was like, oh, I never did it. And I didn't. So I started doing it, and I was like, oh my gosh, these are too many pages. I got to fill out all this information. All right, I'm going to just be still and fill it out. So I started putting my information in. And then they brought in there talking about, this has already been filed. What are you talking about? Well, they didn't say, what are you talking about? But they said, this name is already in the system. I was like, what? So I go in, and they said, to verify if this is you, if you claim this, I'm putting everything in there. Y'all already had a DUNS number. It was set up. Why? Because I got business insurance, because I got other things, and it automatically, I was in my office doing a praise dance because I didn't have to fill out all that information. See, sometimes we are afraid and we're overwhelmed at what we're looking at. But just because we're looking at it doesn't make it that difficult. It could be that it's already done. Somebody say amen to that. It's already done. Latrice Jones says, now, if you become a vendor with CCS, that's the Columbus City Schools, please have your stuff together. And she ain't playing, have your stuff together. Have it together. So y'all don't be afraid. So I'm not going through all of this. I'll give more. They're talking about improving indoor air classrooms, ensuring children get to school safely, bringing clean energy to rural schools, uplifting sustainable and healthy schools. They're talking about the Department of Education as well as those dealing with the entire CDC and things when it comes to hunger and food insecurity. And they talk about supporting good jobs, y'all. This is actually, I can give y'all the total. This is a total of $14.6 billion that's going to these school systems right here in the United States of America. There's no way that I'm not going to try to get a part of that, and you should do it as well. We need to do this, y'all. We need to stop being afraid and do it. Invest in a business consultant, y'all. Deborah Johnson, are you still on here? Y'all, Deborah Johnson does business consulting. Contact her, call her up. She's not the only one. Hester's on here. What's up, Diane Ladybug? Kim Edmondson will help you, will consult with you in doing investments and things like that. Y'all, we got resources right here with NewsInMotion. You got to pay them. You do have to pay them. They have a fee for service, but y'all invest in yourself and do that. Do that. Please do that. All right, y'all. Again, I had planned to talk about critical thinking, but nope, it's going to be a handout on Patreon. Y'all, Latrice Jones is in my head. She's in my head. Y'all, that's a lot of information. That's coming from Dr. Kevin Dudley. So please don't copy it. Don't pass it on. Don't do anything like that when you get it. And all that will be when I post it in Patreon, and we'll get it in there by the end of this week. Y'all, the inspirational message, which I kind of already stepped on that already, I want to talk about give. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. I talked a little bit about it when I brought Isaiah on the screen earlier in the show. I was talking to a friend of mine on yesterday, and we were talking about giving. And we were talking about how people don't understand the importance of giving. Some people don't understand the importance of giving. And sometimes we tap into people all the time, sucking them dry of information. They have not asked us for one dime. Well, this is how you give. Just out of nowhere say, you know what? What's your Cash App? What's your Zelle? Whatever. Because if you're asking for Zelle, there's some kind of relationship. And then just say, you know what? Let me buy you a cup of coffee. And you just Cash App them $4, $5, whatever that is. Y'all, I've done that before. I can remember a time when I probably had $20 to my name, not too long ago, if I can be honest. And I was meeting up with somebody. We were going to a coffee place. And I could literally hear God say, buy their coffee. And I'm thinking, well, Jesus, I only got $20. And where we are, $5 a piece, that's going to leave me with $10. And he was like, buy them coffee. So I said, hey, I got it. I bought it. You know, we sat down, had a great time. Later that day, somebody reached out and said, you know what? You have been so diligent with giving me information I need that I would have had to pay somebody else thousands of dollars. What's your Zelle? And I gave them the phone because it's my phone number. And y'all, I have a couple phone numbers, but it's my direct phone number. And that person sent me $100. I thought, wow. And out of nowhere. So I was being stingy with $5 because I only had 20, and between their coffee and mine, that was 10. But I was obedient anyway. And I said, okay, let me do this, and bought them coffee. And then later that day, $100 that I wasn't even asking for or looking for. So y'all think about somebody and say, let me buy them coffee, or I'm going to buy their lunch, or I'm going to buy them breakfast, or I'm just going to bless them. Y'all, it always comes back. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. It always comes back. Make sure you're never taking advantage of someone. People have intellectual property, and I'll use me as an example. What I do is through research. So it's not like a product per se you can buy. It's not something you can touch. It's the knowledge, it's the education that I'm constantly pouring out. There are millions of people that are out here like that. Every now and there's people who they just love what they do, so they just spill it all out. They just give it all out. Just out of nowhere, just say, I'm going to bless this person, whoever whoever those individual people are. Kim Edmondson says, don't be a taker, be a giver. Make sure you are sowing. Diane Ladybug says, I love it when that happens, but God. Y'all sow into people's lives. I'm not just pushing Isaiah because he's my nephew and he works with News in Motion. I'm pushing him because he has proven himself beyond anything I could have thought about or imagined. He is outstanding. He's an honest young black male and he's doing great work. So yeah, his birthday he'll be 24 week tomorrow. And I'm still telling y'all someone to his life. Isaiah, put your cash app up on the screen. Seriously, y'all. So into, and he had it too. Boom, there it is. Isaiah Jones, 1916. Y'all, so into that young man's life. So into his life. I'm telling you, you're going to be blessed behind it. There's so many names that are in the thread. And if you're listening by podcast or audio, write us. We'll tell you who's in here. We'll tell you who's in here. We won't give you their information. We'll connect you with them. But y'all, there's so many people in here to bless. So be sure that you're doing that. Be sure that and I've said this before and I'll say it again. Don't assume that they got it. And you're thinking, oh, they don't need anything. You don't know what they need. You don't know what they need. We're going into the season of giving, Thanksgiving and Christmas. We have to stop just moving on those two seasons, the holiday season, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and do it all the time. You know, I get excited because you go up to Starbucks and it is already paying it backwards, paying it forwards, whatever you want to call it. And they were like, oh, the person in front, thank you. And then you don't stop, but you were already getting paid, so just pay it back. It's just the thought of giving, whether it's Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, Tim Hortons, Krispy Kreme, wherever it is, McDonald's, whatever it is, y'all pay it forward, pay it back. You will be blessed. I saw something in here I want to grab before I get out of here. I think Mike Nicholson kind of like messed me up talking about we supposed to be an hour. We've been getting there over and over again. This Facebook user, so I don't know if this is Devontae or if it is Mike Nicholson, says, please check your absentee applications. A lot of them are not being received. They said they are getting a lot of calls about it. And I know somebody who hasn't received theirs as well. So y'all need to check on those things. Don't leave it out there. Misha is talking about it's called currency for a reason. It's supposed to flow and freely circulate. I can't see this. It's time we as Black and brown people heal our relationship with money. I agree with you on that. I agree with you, Misha. And I think we need to, y'all know I'm a believer, so I'm going to go here today. I think we need to break that poverty mentality. And I think so many people have that poverty mentality. I just got to hold on to what I have to hold on to instead of letting it go and letting it circulate. So thank you, Misha, for putting that up there. Y'all, that's my niece, by the way. Thank you, Misha, for putting that out there. We need to break that poverty mentality thinking. We need to break that. We need to break that. And if you're wondering why you may not have, it's because you keep holding on to it. And you know good and well God has told you to sow stuff into other people's lives and you're not doing it. So yeah, now Misha's mother, Latrice Jones, is saying louder, say that louder. Just we have to move collectively, and there's a lot that's going on, so let's agree to move collectively. I want all of you all to do me a favor today, and that favor is to make sure you are sharing News in Motion with somebody. Make sure you are sharing News in Motion. So we're asking you to share News in Motion with somebody, whoever that is. We are on Monday through Thursday, live video, 7:25 a.m., live platforms throughout the day. You can catch it. It's all live. It's all live. Twitter, again, welcome to all the audio and all the podcast platform. Shout out to Gina Winks, who is our audio engineer, who's making all of this happen. There's a price tag behind it, but we're making this happen. And I told her, I told y'all Monday, I said, how much is this gonna cost? And then I said, you know what? I'm gonna trust God. I'm just going to trust God, because it's more important for me to get you all this information. Like the information I shared with y'all today from the White House, where else are you going to get that from? Where? Who else is giving that to you? And I'm not being cocky about it. I'm asking y'all a real question. Who else is giving this to y'all? Who else is giving it to? Who's telling you to go get some of these billions, millions, hundreds of thousands, whatever it is? Who else is telling you to do this? And I'm being honest. I have looked. There's not another platform that's giving you this kind of information. There's not another one. Now, there may be people who may start duplicating what I do, but there's only one Gail Dudley. Hello, somebody. All right, y'all. Y'all know what I say. Stay well, everyone. And remember, y'all, tomorrow Lexi will be with us. She's coming in from her high school. Y'all be nice. You know, her teacher's probably watching. She has a report for us that she's going to share in the time that she has to share with us. Kenny, please get better. We need Kenny Stanley to get better. We're glad to see that you were on the chat, but he did not join us today because he's not feeling well. So we want him to be healed. We want him to be healed. All right, y'all. So tomorrow, I'm Gail Dudley, and this has been News in Motion. Stay well, everyone. Remember, make some bold moves. I'm out.
News in motion.